Katie, we are so excited to have you here. You
I'm
are I'm so excited. And congrats on top 20. So
Thank you.
you're welcome. Okay, so let's just jump right into it. Um, can you tell us your story? You can go into much detail as you want, or you can break it up. Doesn't really matter. Just like to get to know you a little bit.
Okay, cool. So yeah, I've been in this for 4.5 years. I'm Ambassador Diamond, and so originally we got started with this. I am, I don't know the proper term, but I had my first baby at 18. So I'm a teen mom. And so me and Zach, my husband now, we were boyfriend and girlfriend back then, but we found out we were pregnant and we were terrified. We had the baby, and then we quickly realized like being a mom and dad, like it was just parents were expensive, trying to take care of this little human. I didn't even know what we were doing. We moved out, and then next thing you know, I felt like this overwhelm of just like bills, and my husband's working 60, 70 hours a week. I'm in nursing school. I'm picking up random CNA shifts, and like no matter what we did, we were not getting ahead. Bills were stacking up. The baby needed clothes and diapers and things like that. And like food, like after bills, we had $23 left at the end of the month for food, gas, diapers, wipes, and obviously that's impossible. So racking up credit card debt and just freaking out every month after month, like I don't know what we're gonna do. I was in the beginning of school, so I didn't know, like I had a solid 2 years before I even got a job as a nurse. And I was already missing a lot of time because I was a full-time student. So I was in school and clinical about 40 hours a week. My husband's working 60, 70 hours a week. And if I was pulling extra shifts, like I had no time to do anything really besides go to school and be a mom. And so we reached a breaking point, and I was kind of I made a post about it today, like where my husband went out and he had pizza for lunch with his work, and it was $3, and I wanted to rip his head off because we didn't have $3 to spend. And he spent $3 on pizza when that was supposed to go to our food budget. And that was when I was like, you know what, like enough is enough. I'm tired of living like this. And so I started like looking for options. I was desperate, stressed out, all of those things. And so works kept coming up. I went to the gym with my mom, and this is so funny because I couldn't afford a gym membership. So I went as a guest with my mom. They had a booth, and this girl, like I entered the free raffle, and she messaged me about a week later and said like, you know, you can do a wrap party and wrap for free, whatever. So I was like, oh, okay, well, I'll think about it, whatever, maybe, probably not though. Well, she never followed up with me. And then the next week, somebody else on Facebook had a giveaway. I entered that one. I won the wrap. I tried the wrap. I loved it. It worked. I was excited. And the girl was like, okay, well, since you love it, you should just sell it. And I kept turning her down. I turned her down a solid like 100 times. And she asked me every single day. And that's something that like I feel like so many of us are afraid to do because we don't want to be annoying. But she literally was talking to me nonstop for a solid week. And then after it was April 2nd when I got started. And so after that week of her being annoying and just messaging me, and I really didn't think she was annoying, honestly. I just thought like she wanted to be my friend. And I was like, why does this girl want to be my friend so bad? I don't know. It was so weird, but because honestly, I didn't have any friends. So it was just weird that somebody wanted to like be my friend so bad. And I'm like, okay, I mean, maybe this girl needs a friend too. I don't know. But then I got started, and she was like, you should get started. You'd be so good at this. And she instilled so much belief in me that I never had in myself. And so I got started, and then, you know, it was all really history from there. I was a slow starter. I was nervous. I was like one of those really annoying DTs that like don't really talk to you that much because they're scared of the world. And then I finally got my 4th loyal customer on my 30th day, which is that was my first customer I didn't know. And then at that point, I had established courage, and so I kept going. I went to a 1-team mission. I saw the vision, and all because the girl who enrolled me made me do it. She was like, "If you got to go to these things," and I was sitting there like, "Why do people go to powwows? This is weird. I don't want to go to a powwow." And then I'm at the powwow, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm going Ambassador Diamond. This is so exciting. And so I went from like, I was maybe going to hit maybe hit like $100 in a month to I'm going Ambassador Diamond. And so at that point I went Ruby, then I went Emerald, and then a couple months later I went Diamond and Double Diamond back to back. That's when I cut off nursing school because I absolutely hated nursing school with a passion. I knew I didn't want to do it, but I needed to pay the money to pay bills. And so I dropped nursing school. I continued with the business. A year later, we went Triple Diamond, and then a year later, we went Presidential. And shortly after Presidential, we went Ambassador. And, you know, over the years, we've been able to do lots and lots of things. We actually just recently, like, I don't know, 10 months ago, 9 months ago, we moved to Savannah, Georgia. We bought our dream home, and we paid off like a ton of debt, like thousands and thousands of dollars of debt. We bought our dream truck just a couple months ago, and my husband's home full time. And basically we're just living the dream. Like we're a full-time family. We have 2 girls. I'm able to homeschool. I'm able to afford food now. We can buy all the organic things that I am so passionate about, being able to feed my kids the best, you know, give the best education, and be able to not have to say, like, no, sorry, we can't afford that. I can buy the clothes that I want to buy the kids. I don't have to go and, you know, search. And, you know, whenever I see a cute jacket, I'm a girl mom, if you guys can't tell, I love to buy all the cute things. So I don't have to just, you know, think about the price of anything. If there's a cute jacket or a ridiculously overpriced pair of boots, I still buy them because I think they're so adorable and my girls deserve it. I just love being able to have that freedom and being able to travel and show them the world through their eyes instead of through a textbook.
I love that so much. That's like so good. I love how you finished it with that. I'm like, you should finish your story with that sentence every time. That's amazing.
It's so good.
It is. It's so true. It's like so many people think they're going to get the best education like in a classroom, but is really not
No,
what people think it. But so many things that you said just grabbed my attention. Like the first one, when the girl is following up with you, and it's funny because I like went through this recently with myself because I don't know what it was. Maybe it was just like, am I echoing?
Mm-mm.
No, it was making a weird noise. I think everyone's muted. Ever since like we had the new update with the iPhone, I don't know if you've noticed, but whenever I follow up, I like scroll to the bottom of my text, you know, and work my way up. I'm not like super organized. I don't write every number down. I don't do that because I'm always on the go and that would just drive me insane. So that's the way that I did it. And now with the new update, I would scroll and then, you know, I'd follow up with someone. And then usually once I followed up, it would keep me in the same spot. And now it shoots to the top with each time. And I'm like, okay, well, this isn't going to work for me. And I wasn't super heavy duty with the Connect app either. So I'm like, this is super out of my comfort zone. And now I'm like not following up because I'm being freaking lazy and I just need to like do something different. And then I figured out a way, you know, I added contacts, which I don't normally do, which is crazy. I know some greens are probably freaking out right now, but what I did just worked for me up until after Ambassador, and then it changed. And then I finally figured it out, and I literally think I've enrolled the most people I've enrolled in the last 5 or 6 days, and I did this entire month. And you know, a lot of people are also messaging me back. I had 2 people yesterday message me back, and they're like, "Oh, I'm already a distributor," and I'm like, "Oh, okay, it's fine. I'm just gonna like, it's cool. I'm gonna keep my composure, but like, it's my fault. You know, it's my fault, 100%." So just really, really, really implementing the follow-up, which is something that is just so stinkingly like obvious to some people, but the main thing is like what you said. I have like you guys being leaders, because this is my leaders. Like I get leaders telling me, sorry, throwing some of you under the bus, that they don't want to annoy people. Like, guys, you're not annoying them whatsoever. Katie is here for a reason. It's because her enroller was blowing her up, and Katie thought she was just trying to make a friend, which she may have, not saying she wasn't, you know, of course, but like, I mean, the fortune is literally in the follow-up, and it is so stinking important. You know, I mean, I enrolled people that I followed up with 17 times, and they didn't answer me the first 17, you know, so that's just, I love that. That's great. And then another thing is the events. Like, guys, come on. If you're on the Zoom and you haven't been to an event, like, I bet you go to an event and you'll be 10 times of where you want to be right now. Like, it's something that is just so stinking important. And I can't really emphasize that enough. That is just like really, really, really important for sure. Are you going to the Boston training?
I'm not. No, we have so many trips between now and now we have Costa Rica. It's like back to back to back.
That was me all summer. This is the longest I've like ever been home. I feel you. Okay, so we have a few questions. If anyone has, I only have a few. So if anyone has any questions as we're talking, feel free to comment it. But you know, this also doesn't have to go an hour. But I would love to get as much out of you as I possibly can. So, a lot of people ask questions about leadership, you know, and your best leadership tips, but going into more detail, just kind of like, I guess we can start off with, you know, what's your best advice, and maybe if you have any tips or anything you do specific that you implement among your team for layered leadership, you know, and creating that and, you know, helping people get to that next level in their leadership, basically.
So basically, the biggest thing that I do is, number one, in leadership, I do the most out of everybody, and I'm very red. I don't know if she warned you, but I always am. I have to be the one that does the most. So I'm always enrolling the most. I don't. If somebody tells me they enrolled one more LC or one more DT than me, like, I will not sleep. I will sacrifice my life to be the winner at all costs. So I'm always doing the most, but I'm always showing my team, like, I show up the most because I expect you guys to show up the most. And so that inspires them a lot to always work harder and never let somebody under them outdo them. And it gives them, their team, some challenges and gives them something to shoot for. So that I kind of implement that, and it gets them a lot, especially the Reds. It gets them really fired up to like compete with me. Also, something that I really do for layered leadership is I pull out like what's kind of like the best in each person. And I figure out like, okay, and I work with what's best and I highlight them in these spots, but then I also pull up their weak spots and put them out of their comfort zone to do some things that make them feel a little bit uncomfortable, to stretch them and get them to cover those other bases that are important. Because sometimes, going from diamond to double diamond, that's a kind of a big jump. You have a lot bigger team at that point, and you're going to need to do things at double diamond that you didn't know we're going to be a thing when you're a diamond. And double to triple, I get them to, maybe, let's just say, if they're not used to hosting power hours, the first person that I put on a power hour is them. And so it kind of gets them to understand and step up, and it kind of creates that, like that backup, that leadership that if I'm placing under them, like, you have to be able to step up and like run the show whenever I'm not there. And so it kind of gives them that responsibility. But another thing, like, as far as placing, I know a lot of people will have a lot of questions about that. Like, whenever I place, I will work with them the person is mine. Like, if I personally enroll you, you are basically my child, and I teach you all the things. But the leader that they're under, that now becomes like, you're kind of like our partner. She's like a third partner in this, but like, when I'm not available, you go to her. And so she's backup. And so I kind of, until that my baby takes off and is able to leave the nest, then I am their primary. And then when they're ready to leave the nest, then it kind of really floats over to that person. And it depends on what person, like what rank that is, because of the way charts flow and what we need for promotions and things like that. But once I feel that they have got, like, usually it's around diamond, and when they're doing diamond on their own is when I'm like, all right, little bird, fly from the nest. And then they kind of take over and do things like their way, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I love that a lot. We're really big with power hours too. So, so what if now, as far as, I think we were talking about before, you said you're on Instagram, right? But you do Instagram and Facebook, or mainly Instagram?
Mainly Instagram.
Okay, awesome. So I was just curious about that again. So another question along with leadership, which I'm sure you get all the time, is how do you find, I hate the word balance because there really is no such thing, but I mean, it's kind of funny because, like, we have like 2 people on our team with children, maybe 3, maybe 4. I'll give it 4. But we are getting older, so I'm sure we'll be seeing more. But like, most of us either go to school and have a job, or have a job and go to school. Like, we can even say like we have kids and we go home to take care of, so like having children and obviously like a husband and life, what do you do to like do it? Like, what do you do to go about your days?
So I'm really big on, I'm very disciplined, because I know a lot of people can relate to this too. Like, basically, if you have the mentality like, oh, I'll just do it tonight, you can basically accept the fact you're not doing it tonight. Like, when at nighttime you're tired, you want to watch TV, you want to unwind after a long day, you've been at school, you've been at work, you want to watch TV with your significant other and just chill. So like, when you get home from that long day that you said, like, instead of doing it on my break, or instead of doing it in the morning, at nighttime you get a shower, you're like, I'm gonna work after the shower, but then your significant other's chilling in the bed, and he's like, hey, you wanna watch an episode of our show? And you're like, yeah, definitely want to do that. So it's a lot harder to put that into place once you're in chill mode for the night. So what I do is, first thing in the morning, I get up, I do, my rule of thumb is by 10 a.m. every morning, I'm ready for the day. So regardless of if I'm going anywhere or doing anything, I've got to have my face washed and I've got to have clothes on, not just pajamas. And that's usually 10 a.m. is usually when my daughter starts. We do homeschool. We start around 10. And so before 10 o'clock, usually I wake up around 8. I feed my zoo. I get the baby fed and chilled out. And then I give her to my husband. And from like, I would say like 8:45-ish to 10 o'clock, I get everything done for the day. I'm sending out all my messages. I send out, or I comment. I do my relationship building. I do every part of my day before my day actually starts. So that way throughout the day, I'm responding. I'm on the offense, not on the defense. I feel like I'm in control of my day. Everything's already handled and done. And basically, if I need to do more, I do more. Month end's a little different. I work a little bit more. And usually at nap time, I check back in and I run another power hour by myself. I do power hours for my team. Like I switch it off with my leaders. We have power hours every day. We have about 3 to 4 team-wide a day, but it's because we have West Coast and East Coast. So like usually between me and my leaders, I do 1 or 2 a week and they do 1 or 2 a week. And so on my power, I knock it out, but most of the time I power hour by myself because I get more done when I'm not explaining how to do it. But basically by 10 o'clock, my work day is done, like all my hard stuff. And then the rest of the day, I'm enrolling people that message from earlier in the day. And really just posting. I never really get a post up before 10 o'clock, honestly, besides like my story about the product. I'm not about to talk. I don't like to talk in the morning. So I just kind of get it all done, get my self-development squashed in there. And then for the rest of the day, I'm good.
Okay. I love that. Guys, she literally said like 8:30, 8:45 to 10 in getting everything done. Like it's totally doable. If you guys don't know by now, which hopefully you do, that what we need to be doing, income producing activity, like you don't have to work hours and hours and hours and hours and hours in your day, like drilled in your phone. You don't have to do that in order to do what you need to do and see results. But with that, can you go over like what income producing activity is to you?
Yeah, so I will tell you guys, let me pull up, I'll tell you guys, I have a list. And basically what I do is the only thing that I do have to split into like 2 sessions. So my nap time session gets a little bit like the leftover. So like I add 15 to 20 people on Facebook. I'm always growing my market on Facebook for host to post. That's the main purpose I use Facebook for. That's really it. And then I follow 150 on Instagram. I do 70 and 70, like 70, well, 75, 75 at a time. And then I do send 20 relationship messages. I go through stories. What I do is I scroll all the way to the back, like the people I don't really talk to a lot. And I'll message them off their stories a lot. Sometimes it's just a heart, like I react heart and like kind of start that little like relationship going. I blossom it, but that doesn't really count as one of my 20. Like as I'm scrolling, I just try to message as many people as I can, random things, so that they can know, oh, Katie Bevington, you know, the one who always has inspiring quotes, the one who works from home. Like I get them to know who I am. And then comment on 30 things. I do my comments. I do like sometimes it's like 2020, sometimes it's like 2015. I don't know. It just depends on what people are posting and if I can really make a nice, thoughtful comment. But I do usually get that one done in the first portion of my day. And then post on your Instagram story, obviously, but you don't do all that in one time. So then I do messaging people from my posts. Anybody that likes my posts, you get a message from me. So I'm sending out messages for that, depending on like my likes, how many people I haven't messaged before, yada yada. Sometimes I do like 20 in the morning, 20 in the afternoon, and then host to post every day. Minimum 10 host posts go up a day. Basically, if my inbox if I don't come back to my phone when I'm like away from it to people wanting to buy the product, then that's a problem. I get more up. So that's like a dependent on the day and the host to post. But basically, I always need people in my inbox. So I'm always sending loyal customers. I have to sign at least one loyal customer a day. That's like the minimum. But really, I get around 2 a day. Following up. Self-development, and that's really it.
Mm-hmm. Perfect. Love that. We all know this too, which is great. Sometimes we need confirmation from others, but awesome. Okay. Allie asked how often you're checking in with your newbies and your leaders.
So I do it a little bit like the way that we have our team set up. So basically once you get started, there's 4 training videos. It goes over everything you need to know under the sun. Like by the time you're done, you're basically an ambassador, like in knowledge, everything's already there. And so we get you started immediately. And so basically what I do is I expect you to watch the videos in 24 hours. Like if you want to continue training with me, you finish them in 24 hours, unless there's a catastrophic event and somebody died or you got the flu, then you finish them in 24 hours. They're about an hour and a half. So divide that up into 24 hours, you can do that. So then after that's over, we get you started on host to post immediately. And so like basically I'm checking in on them pretty much every day. until they feel like, okay, I got this. It's usually about 2 weeks. And then it's every few days. How's everything coming? Because my goal is to get you to Ruby in 30 days. And so if you're staying on track with what I'm teaching you, then you'll be there. But if they aren't responsive, if they take longer than 24 hours, I say, all right, let me know when you finish that. And sometimes they never let me know. And then I'll check in like a week. Did you ever finish it? If they say no, honestly, I'm not texting you back. And then if it's somebody who answers me and is like, I haven't got to it, something's happened, whatever, I'm like, okay, give them grace. I'm like, whatever. But then I set them up. I'm like, if you want to get to Ruby in 30 days, like you said, you wanted to make an extra $500 a month with this, we've got to pick up the pace. Otherwise, you're not on track for that goal. And so I just keep it realistic with them, so they don't say, well, I've been in this for 30 days. I want to do at this point. I said, well, we talked about it. You weren't on track at this. So basically, just keeping like every day if they're active, every few days once they get it down. But if they're inactive, I just kind of go with how I feel. But I make it a known point for them to know they can come to me at any time for anything. I encourage them to come to me with questions because I'm not a mind reader. And I need to know, how are you feeling? Do you feel overwhelmed? Do you feel great? You know everything, you're on track? Or like, do you feel lost? And, it kind of depends. But my leaders, we do a Diamond and Above Zoom every Sunday. And that's really that's just a game planning for them. I found for my Diamonds and Above, they really enjoy that time. We have talks about how our team's doing. Do they need help with anything? Are they struggling in any area? I do like a little pep talk for them. And then we kind of just go over what we can do for the rest of the week to increase enrollments. And then for Ruby and Above, we do a once a month Zoom and it's usually like in the beginning of the month. And I just like, all right, what's your game plan? This is how you're going to get to Emerald. This is your steps. This is what you got to do. And then pump them up. And that's really it.
Love that. I feel like so many people get stuck on the distributors who join and just don't want it. Like it's so normal. Like it's just so normal. And I feel like so many people waste their time on income producing activities instead of trying to talk to a distributor that doesn't want it. Like you can't ask them, you can only ask them so many times, hey, I thought you wanted to make money. Like they either want it or they don't. And then after that, it's just a waste of time. It's just a waste of time. You're so funny. I love the red. I love the red in you. I'm red too, but I'm more yellow than red. So I feel it. I love that so much. Okay, so let's see. So I feel something else that has been coming up a lot that I've been noticing is, again, going into the balancing thing, but I'll say handling your own enrollments and getting shit done, excuse my language, and doing what you need to be doing, enrolling and leading from the front versus people being stuck on top of their distributors, stuck on top of their leaders and just being on top of them, right? And I just as red as you can possibly be, because I know we all need to hear your best advice as far as long story short, you can't get to ambassador if you're not focused on yourself. Obviously you have a team, but what's your best advice is breaking through and giving, leading by example, and just knowing that if your leaders are your leaders and they're not going anywhere if they want this,
Yeah. So basically, and here's the thing. So whenever you should expect, whatever promotion you're going for, nobody's going to get that promotion unless you decide the promotion happens. You've got to be the one who steps into the place and say, I'm sick and tired of sitting at Ruby, Emerald, Diamond, and say, I'm going to go double diamond. And then you start figuring out what you need for double diamond. You start enrolling what's needed, and there will be people to follow. I always look at every single promotion all the way to ambassador. Yes, ambassador. It's my promotion, and I need to see, okay, I need 35 distributors. That means I need to be enrolling at least 15 distributors a month, get my boxes filled, and if somebody signs a DT, that's amazing because that's a bonus point for me. That basically means I just signed a free distributor and my box is filled. Everything is my responsibility. And so if somebody isn't showing up, okay, and this is leaders on here, so I'm gonna say it. So if somebody isn't showing up, they get promoted in that promotion. When you make the decision that you're going to promote, not every person is going to be on board, you guys. You're going to have people in Ruby position that could give two shits if they're going to promote or not. You're going to have people in Emerald that don't care. And so what's going to happen is you have to make the decision, or am I going to push, or am I going to let one lazy person that you're going to get to that next level? Because sometimes we get hung up on the, well, I don't want to give them a free check, okay? And sometimes giving them that free check gets you to that next rank. And so you can find somebody under there to pull up the next month, but you have got to make the decision because not everyone's on board. Some people will say all day long, I want this so bad. Nothing's working. You guys have some people like that? Post to post doesn't work. This doesn't work. Nobody's liking my post. I don't know what to do. I'm not getting anybody. They're so negative. They're going to be stuck in that position for the rest of their life. They have to make the decision to come out of that hole. They have to make the decision that they're going to enroll people. Otherwise, you're going to be dragging them. Imagine like a dog. When you're like dragging your dog at the vet, like that's what it's like when you're trying to get somebody to promote with you and they're like, I'm trying everything. And you know they're not. You know, if you're working, you sign people up. And so when it comes to your promotion, you look at the chart, you figure out what's needed, you enroll what's needed. If somebody gives you an LC, great, that's a bonus point. If you get a free DT, that's a bonus. But otherwise, your chart is yours. Your team is never going to want what you want as bad as you want it. And so same thing with them and their team. What they want is different. And so they move at different speeds. I'm very red and I can build hard and fast. I'm a mass enroller. I'm great at enrollment. And some people are slow and that drives me absolutely insane. But I'm still going to enroll because I want ambassador. When I wanted ambassador, I was like, our team, we're going ambassador. And we enrolled a lot of volume. I literally had to build an entire triple diamond leg. I built that in like 2 months because I was like, you know, I'm sick and tired of being presidential. I want to be ambassador. I'm not trying to be left out of the ambassador club. Like I've got to get there. And so I just looked at what I needed and I made it happen. And my team followed suit. Like my leaders stepped up and they're like, okay, I'm going to start enrolling too. And like, they just see whenever I get myself in gear, and you guys are obviously at this point in leadership where you're like, okay, I know what it takes. Like you switch modes. It's like, instead of like, I call it like maintenance mode, you go into like promotion mode. And so everything in your mind goes to like gear number 2. And so now you're like, all right, I'm focused on this chart, which number 2 is really where you guys should always have your mind if you're trying to get to ambassador. But we go into this, you're looking at a chart, you're looking at volume, you're like, this is what I need. You start enrolling, your team starts to follow. If some people don't follow, go, and your people will come up with you. Sometimes you got to adjust the chart. Sometimes it takes you an extra month because you cannot do it alone. Remember, don't try to twist that on me. I do say there is a couple people that won't want to do it with you. But you do need people to go with you. And you bring those people up, you encourage them, you support them. But in the end, it is your responsibility to fill every box, the 400 volume, and to have that volume and your whole entire team ready and locked and loaded to go and ready to go, because you can, as a leader, when you make that decision, you're capable of doing a lot more than what your team is doing because you're experienced. You cannot expect a brand new person to come in and pop diamond if you're trying to go double or triple or whatever. You can't expect them to work at a triple diamond pace if they're coming in, or a diamond pace and for your triple, when they're brand new. In your first month, you didn't go diamond. And probably in your first 2 months or 3 months, you didn't go diamond. And so you cannot expect somebody who's brand spanking new to come in and whoop that butt like you do as a leader. So you work at their own pace, you encourage them, you get excited for them, but it's your responsibility.
I love that. And it's funny because so many people pray for that and they like manifest it. They're like, oh, my runner, this girl, she's gonna be my runner. Like she's gonna go diamond. She's gonna go ruby in her first month. But if that's what some of you guys are saying and thinking, like if you started today, could you right now go ruby or diamond in your first month? Even being where you are right now, your mindset, like your work ethic, could you truly go diamond in a month? Could you go ruby in a month? You know, maybe you can. That's great. Then then let's manifest all the rubies that you're enrolling, and you know what I'm saying is great. But you can't possibly be thinking that the girls that are coming onto your team are gonna freaking do it for you. It's just not realistic whatsoever. It doesn't work that way. And people, guys, your team feeds off your vibe like so much. I feel like we all get like stuck in our heads sometimes, you know, like you were saying, Kay, like when you were like, I'm going ambassador, like I just need to decide I'm doing it. Like you go and you do it, and your team will feel that. Like you don't have to post a million times on your page, or you don't have to go live 17 times a day to pump your team up. Like your team is going to follow you by seeing your enrollments, feeling your energy, even if it's freaking virtually through a text. Like they just know what it is, and that's with you guys trusting the system and just getting to work. Wow, that was so good. I love that so much. Okay, so we had another question. She said, kind of vague, but having friends join you who were your friend prior to the business and kind of establishing that friendship, but now also business partners, and not having that affect your friendship. Are you treating them the same as you would as a new DT? Or does that make sense, Katie?
Yes. So here's the thing. Okay. So in my opinion, okay, so friendship is friendship. Business is business. The number one thing you never do is build somebody because they're your friend. That will ruin friendship. That will make it weird. And I just do not do that. It is a strictly business thing. Whenever you start to do a little bit of building and then you build somewhere else, friend gets jealous, friend's upset. Why aren't you building me? Why aren't you helping me? And so it can be really sticky. And so with friends, I help them, I encourage them. I think it's fun to work together. But at the same time, I'm not like boosting that leg, because then other legs can be like, well, you're helping her a lot. It just gets messy. I've had a friend do that, and it just wasn't my ideal situation. So I always welcome them into the business. I just don't build them.
Okay, perfect. Does that answer your question, Amy? Yeah. Okay, cool. Do you guys have any more questions? Anything? Now, how do you mind kind of like going over like social media? So how you post. I know you said you reach out to your likes, which is so awesome. That's amazing. Like how do you go about posting? Do you post like once a day, twice a day? Do you post like every other day on your page? Like, is it all life posts? How do you go about that?
So, okay, so my posting every single day, I get one post on Instagram, one post on Facebook. They're different posts every day. But my stories where the jam's at. So like basically I put everything into my story. Every day I'm posting lifestyle. My majority of my feed, I would say like I do like 90% lifestyle, 10% it works. And so it's kind of like a sundae with like whipped cream and sprinkles on top. That's the it works portion. And then the ice cream is just my life. And so I drag people in, I get them all excited about my life, what I'm doing, how I'm doing it. And I just talk about basically everything. And you guys that don't have kids, like I'm gonna just tell y'all, you guys have such a cool advantage point because you guys get to do cool stuff and you don't have to worry about a babysitter. And so you get to do all the fun pics. You guys get to have all these cute outfits and go do all the things. And so having kids does have a little bit of a plus because then I get to take pictures of cute kids, but it makes other things a little bit more difficult. So every day I'm talking about my life. What am I doing every day? I wake up in the morning. I start my first slide every day is with celery. It's my jam. I take it every day. And so I never miss a day with celery. And that also, not only does that help my business, it gets me lots and lots and lots of customers. Like I at least sign a customer every other day off of like effortlessly just because I'm talking about celery. Like it's that big of a deal that I'm doing it. I have incredible results on celery. I'm obsessed with it. So every morning, a celery post. And sometimes, like every day, it could be like a simple boomerang of me drinking it. Some days it's a video of me making the celery. Some days it's like a Q&A. Like, well, I've gotten so many questions. And you guys, sometimes I get questions, sometimes I don't. I just say, I've gotten so many questions the past few days. I just wanted to tell you guys like really quick what this is and what it does and blah, blah, blah. And I'll just talk for like 2 or 3 slides about the celery. And then the next day, it could be like a pretty slide that I made on over about the celery with my results. And then I always just share all about it, but I share about it in different ways every day. And then I just repeat it. Like however I feel like, oh, I haven't made just a picture of me drinking it. I'll do that today. And just kind of switch it up. And then after that, it's just what I'm doing. Usually I'll be talking about like maybe an outfit I'm wearing, like do you like this better or that better? Or before and after me getting ready or something my kid was doing or like just going outside for a walk, whatever. I'm just sharing my day throughout. Like I'm sharing everything throughout my day on my story. And so it shows them like a day in the life of Katie every day. So they get to see like we do homeschool, we do, you know, I'm doing whatever with my hair. I'm trying this. Do you guys like it better, curly or straight? I'm always asking questions on there, like giving people an input. even if I already know, like, I definitely would not usually wear my hair like this, but like, I'm already going to straighten it. I know that, but I'm going to ask you if you like it cut better, like curly or straight. You're like, I know I'm going to order from this website, but like, what's your favorite website? I don't know. I just get it. That way I get a lot of interaction. I'm just always thinking about hot topics. I also look at another really good way to get interaction is to pay attention to like what some like celebrities are talking about. Like I know like, you know, obviously we have new skincare, so skincare is really hot anyway. So talking about skincare questions, asking like anything that you see Kylie Jenner, like Kim Kardashian, like anybody that's just like big and posting, pay attention to the topics they're talking about because then you can kind of mimic that on your own page. Anyway, so I post about that. I just have different topics always flowing through my Instagram stories, and then I'll sprinkle in random things like, you know, the other day, I don't know if any of you follow me, but I literally set a hot pan on top of my Apple Pen like an idiot. And so I burnt my freaking Apple Pen, but then I just did a quick slide and I was like, you know, it's so awesome that even though, you know, when accidents like this happen, that I don't have to freak out and I could just order another one because of my business. And then like, I just show the receipt of me buying another Apple Pen because I need it. And so then people are like, wow, that's crazy. You dropped $100 and whatever on a pen because you needed it. And it's just sharing like little things. Like whenever I fill up with gas, you know, I'm so thankful I can afford gas because, you know, I never used to be able to do this 4.5 years ago. We struggled so bad. I just say like every time I'm spending money, like I'm going to the grocery store, I shopped online, I bought the kids' clothes, I got dog food, like anything. I'm like, it's so awesome that I no longer have to struggle because of my business. I tell my story like 2 to 3 times a week, different ways, different versions. But the biggest return that I see is when I talk on my stories about the business. Like if you know how we have like the pretty oversides that we make of our stories and it's like takes us like 7.5 hours to like put that all together and make it look nice. Those get me, but like I get poll interaction on that. And I do sign people from those, but I sign the most people when I talk on my stories about like something random. Like when I just have my groceries delivered or when I pick up my groceries or whatever I'm doing that week, I show the groceries. I'm like, or I'll do a boomerang like of the groceries and then I'll go on and talk, oh my gosh, it's so amazing that we're able to afford, you know, all natural, healthy groceries for my kids. I'm so thankful because before I started this business, we couldn't even afford that. We had to do blah, 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 blah to get food. And people are just like sucked in. I'm like, if you're struggling, you know, I want you to reach out and just ask me because I actually am opening like a few positions on my team. I always limit everything. That's the key. And so every time, like I only have, you know, 2 spots open right now to help people get started with this. And then by that time, like I'll get like 5 messages. Do you still have a spot left? Do you still have a spot? And I can literally sign 5 distributors in one day just from doing that. Off of me talking, polls aren't like that. People are lazy as hell and will vote on a poll and not message you. So you got to expect to put more work in that way. But when you're saying, and you do a call to action like that, you will get more people to message you, but you cannot open spots like every day. So it's something that must be limited. And you do it like, I can, like I said, like the way I sign my DTs, I do it like I would say like every week and a half. Not exactly, but like I space it out like that. I'll open 2 here, like 3 here. And like I can sign, like I said, 5, 6 DTs in a day. And then obviously I'm training them. So I don't say the same thing. And so I got them going. And then I'll do a new group and I get them going and then I do a new group. And that's just kind of how it flows for me. And I get them, I usually kind of box them in the same kind of group so I can train them together and then work with them in a group, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's awesome. Creating a sense of urgency is very, very, very important and really simple to do too. Do you go live on Instagram or do you just record it and then post it on your story?
I go live on Instagram. I don't see a lot of return from lives. Like I'll do a live occasionally and I'll get like maybe 1 message off of it, but the stories, because I feel like the lives almost mess up your stories because they stay on there and like you have to like click it and like get rid of the live and get to your stories. So it ruins it. So I just do like, I record all my stories and I just post it right on there. Sometimes like I'm still kind of trying to figure out if I like better when I do like the over stories, like when you make them fancy, or if I just do it like the regular way. Like honestly, I'm not that great on over. Like it takes me a really long time to make Instagram stories on there. So most of the time I don't do it that way. It looks better when you do it like that, but I also think people appreciate seeing like the raw version of who I am and like how I look and like hearing my voice and just seeing like, you know, I'm a real person and most of the time, you know, your kids in the background or the dogs or whatever, and I'm just sharing me. So really, if you just record on your story and just share kind of like, and don't always, not every day, like don't always look 100% perfect and like don't always be like, oh, I got to restart this, I stuttered, you know what I mean? Like just be real and people, they just really get attracted to that.
Listen, that is not something that is an issue for me as far as looking good. all the time. So that is great. I love that. Okay. That was super, super, super helpful. Wow, guys. We just got so much info. I've been like zoned in the entire time. Okay, no more questions. I know it's month end, so and Show Me Money Call's about to be on, so I know it's gonna be really good. I know, so many page notes. Okay. Katie, you freaking rock. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right, we got all thank yous, no questions. Cool. All right.
Perfect.
Thank you so much again. Hope you guys have a great night.
You're welcome. Bye, guys. Thanks for
Bye.
having me.